My chosen one, pause for a moment and let your heart be still. There is a pain you carry that no one else knows how to name, a weight you hide behind smiles and silence. You didn't stumble into this message by chance. This is for the part of you that feels unseen, unheard, yet still holding on. You are not watching this by accident, and you are not alone while listening to these words. Let the noise around you fade for a moment. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breathing slow down. This space is for you, even if you never say a single word out loud. There are pains you carry that never make it into conversations, never reach messages, never become tears in front of others. They live quietly inside you, heavy and unseen, and yet even in that hidden place you are fully known. Jesus understands the pain you do not share, not as a distant observer, but as someone who has walked through sorrow with human skin and a breaking heart. There is a kind of pain that does not scream. It does not demand attention. It simply settles in day after day, becoming part of how you wake up, how you smile, how you survive. You learn how to function while carrying it. You laugh at the right moments. You show strength when it is expected. You become reliable, responsible, composed. People admire how well you handle things, not realizing how much you have learned to hide. That hidden strength often comes from necessity, not choice. Jesus sees that strength and the cost it took to build it. He understands the exhaustion that comes from being strong for too long. He understands what it means to carry responsibility while your own heart feels fragile. He knows the weight of expectations placed on your shoulders, especially when you never asked for them. He knows what it feels like to be misunderstood, to be surrounded by people, and still feel deeply alone. When the world sees composure, he sees the quiet trembling beneath it. There were moments in his life when he stood among crowds, yet felt the ache of isolation. He healed many, loved deeply, and still experienced rejection. He gave compassion freely and received suspicion in return. He offered truth and was met with resistance. He understands what it feels like when your intentions are pure but your efforts are questioned. That shared understanding is not theoretical. It is personal. There are nights when memories replay without permission. Moments you thought you had moved past return with sharp clarity. Words spoken to you long ago still echo, shaping how you see yourself today. You learn to live with those echoes, pretending they no longer matter. Jesus understands the power of words and the wounds they leave behind. He knows how deeply they can carve into a soul. He also knows how to heal what words have broken, gently and patiently, over time. Some pains feel too complicated to explain. They are not dramatic enough to justify attention, yet too heavy to ignore. You tell yourself others have it worse. You minimize your own hurt until it becomes invisible, even to you. Jesus never minimizes your pain. He never compares it. He never dismisses it. What hurts you matters to him fully and completely. He understands grief that does not follow a clear timeline, loss that lingers in ordinary moments, absence that shows up when something reminds you of what used to be. He understands mourning that continues quietly while life moves forward. When you feel pressure to be over it by now, he remains present in the middle of it. There are struggles you keep hidden because explaining them feels impossible. You fear being judged, misunderstood, or dismissed. You choose silence because it feels safer than vulnerability. Jesus understands that silence. He understands the courage it takes just to keep going without being seen. He understands the prayers you never speak out loud, the ones that exist only as feelings and sighs. He understands disappointment, especially when it involves dreams that never unfolded the way you hoped, paths you trusted that led somewhere unexpected, effort that did not produce the outcome you believed in. He understands what it feels like to surrender something precious, even when surrender hurts. He understands obedience that costs deeply. There are moments when faith feels heavy instead of comforting, when believing requires effort rather than ease, when you continue not because it feels good, but because something inside you refuses to let go completely. Jesus understands that kind of faith. He honors it. He does not shame you for struggling. He meets you inside the struggle itself. He understands emotional pain that shows no physical sign. The kind that drains energy, clouds thoughts, and makes simple tasks feel overwhelming. He understands mental battles that no one else sees, the effort it takes to appear normal while your inner world feels chaotic. He understands the courage it takes to keep showing up. When you feel unseen by people who should understand you, he sees you. When your voice feels unheard, he listens. When your pain feels insignificant to others, it remains significant to him. He does not require eloquence or explanation. He understands the language of the heart without words. You do not need to perform strength in his presence. You do not need to justify your feelings. You do not need to pretend. You can simply exist as you are. He meets you there without condition, without impatience, without disappointment. This moment is an invitation to release the weight you have been carrying alone. Not by forcing yourself to explain it, but by allowing yourself to be understood. Let yourself rest in the truth that your hidden pain is not invisible. It is seen, known, and held with compassion deeper than you can imagine. This next movement carries you further into that understanding, not by adding pressure, but by offering space. The pain you never share often becomes the place where you believe you must be strongest. You build walls around it, not to keep others out, but to keep yourself functioning. Over time, those walls feel permanent. You forget what it is like to feel safe without them. Jesus understands those walls. He does not tear them down forcefully. He waits patiently, offering trust instead of pressure. He understands the moments when you feel tired of being resilient, when you wish someone would notice without you having to explain, when you wish rest could reach deeper than sleep. He understands the longing to be cared for without having to ask. His presence is gentle, not demanding. He does not require you to collapse to prove you are hurting. There are burdens you carry because you believe it is your responsibility alone. Family expectations, unspoken duties, roles you stepped into quietly and never stepped out of. Jesus understands responsibility carried in silence. He carried responsibility that changed history, and he carried it with tears, not detachment. He understands the weight of doing what must be done while feeling the cost deeply. He understands the fear of vulnerability, the fear that if you open up, everything you have kept contained might spill out. He understands the desire to remain in control because losing control feels dangerous. He approaches with patience, creating safety instead of urgency. There are moments when you feel distant from joy, even when good things happen. You participate outwardly while feeling disconnected inwardly. Jesus understands that disconnection. He understands how pain can numb emotions. He does not rush you back into happiness. He walks with you until feeling returns naturally. He understands the shame that sometimes attaches itself to pain. The belief that you should be stronger, more grateful, more faithful. He does not add to that shame, he removes it. He reminds you that being human was never a failure. He lived fully human to make that truth undeniable. When you sit alone with thoughts that feel too heavy to carry, he is present. When your mind replays moments you wish you could change, he remains near. When regret whispers lies about your worth, he speaks truth quietly and consistently. He understands unanswered prayers and delayed answers. He understands waiting that stretches patience thin. He understands hope that flickers instead of burns brightly. He does not withdraw when faith feels fragile. He stays closer. There is nothing about your pain that makes him uncomfortable. Nothing about your struggle that surprises him. Nothing about your silence that distances him. He understands completely, not because he has studied humanity, but because he entered it. Let this truth settle gently. You do not need to carry everything alone anymore. You do not need to explain yourself perfectly. You do not need to hide what hurts. You are already understood. As you remain in this space, allow yourself to breathe without defense. Allow yourself to be seen without exposure. Allow yourself to trust that the pain you never share is held by hands strong enough to carry it with you.